Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence, with Just Ask Podcast Live. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me, and you know how I like to do things. Hey, we always have some resource and information for you that you may know something about or may not know anything about, and we want to enlighten you. So today I have a very special guest with me, and you know what? This young lady, I have ventured in this avenue before, but didn't keep up, but now I have to because we're going to learn a lot today from Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. We have a lot of pageants, we have a lot of programs, but we never think about our disabled population, who represents the disabled population. So this young lady today is going to give us some insight about being Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024. And without further ado, let me introduce you to Shanta Favors. Hello, Shanta.
Hello, Marsha. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me. Now, Shante, I had to tell my viewers I've had the pleasure before to interview a lady who was Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and I forgot her name, so I apologize, but it's been some years, and I didn't keep up. So when I had the opportunity to meet you and talk with you, I said, well, you know what? It's time to upgrade our viewers with how your title came about and what's your platform. So without further ado, enlighten our audience about some things about you.
Well, I am Shanta Favors, Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024. I became Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024 on November 4th, 2023. I received a message on Messenger asking me that I want to compete for Miss Wheelchair Michigan. You know, I have been approached several times before about competing for Miss Wheelchair Michigan, but I didn't feel like I could commit. And I'm someone that when I take on something, I want to give it 100% or do it not at all. So I was apprehensive, but this time I said, yeah, I am interested. Well, the catch was it was a Friday and the application deadline was Saturday, which was the very next day. So I got this application, I filled it out. When I get to one question, it said, what is your platform? So now it's almost midnight, so I have about 30 minutes to come up with a platform. So I chose my platform, Bridging the Gap Between Caretakers and the Disability Community, with a special focus on direct caretakers.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay,
And
that's great.
then, and
Okay, now
then
I'm sorry, I
the
didn't mean to cut you off.
competition.
Go ahead.
It's okay. The competition, so the second part of the punchline was the competition was the following Saturday. So not only did I have to come up with a platform, I had to come up with a platform speech, and I had under 5 days to do it.
Well, you know what? Whether you had 5 days, one day, if you know what your heart tells you, you follow your heart and you believe in what you say and commitment, it just comes out and comes naturally. So that's the first thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely.
You know what? I didn't want to go back and forth, but I did have a photo that I wanted to share with our viewers. And I believe you were telling me earlier that this is Shelly Luce.
Yes. So Shelly Luce is my state coordinator for Miss Wheelchair Michigan. She's also the president of Miss Wheelchair America. Shelley was Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2007, and since having that title, she became the state coordinator. She's a phenomenal individual, very dedicated to her community, and she often says she does this 100% voluntarily. So she's been doing this for a very long time, receiving no financial gain, doing it completely from passion and from her heart.
Wow. Okay. And I see behind you the wonderful sign that says Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024 platform, Bridging the Gap.
Yes,
Yeah.
so Shelly and I were at the Tulip Festival in Holland, Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
where I rode in the parade in my wheelchair. And every individual that I saw that was physically disabled, I left the parade line and I went to them personally and let them know this ride is for us. We belong
Great.
here.
Great, great, great. That was that was well said. I mean, people assume that just because a person has a disability that they don't have dreams and admirations of being successful, owning their own home, having a business, raising children, and that's nowhere near true.
Not at all. Not at all. We may have a physical disability, but that disability does not define us. And not only a physical disability, it could be mental, development delayed, visually impaired, or hearing impaired. That is a disability. It doesn't define who you are as a person, whether you defined it.
Correct. 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 Now I have a photo here of you and Rashida Tlaib. Tell me how this photo came
Yeah.
about.
So I got a call at 4:30 in in the evening, telling me that Rashida Tlaib was having a town hall meeting in Inkster at 6 p.m. And so I told my husband I need to get to Inkster so that I could have a conversation with Rashida Tlaib. In that moment, I had to produce a letter, so I had to write a letter to hand to her. So I gave her a very compelling letter written about what I feel is necessary and needed to help us save lives and help us eradicate the caretaker shortage crisis.
Mm-hmm.
She not only took that letter, she had a conversation with me for, I would say, like 10 minutes, as well as with my daughter, who's 9. And then she sent a follow-up letter letting me know that she believed in what I'm advocating for. She wished me well as Miss Wheelchair America, and she told me that she herself was supporting a bill that would give caregivers, specifically family caregivers, a tax credit.
Mm-hmm. Great, great.
Yeah.
So look, so you were Johnny on the spot. So hey, you heard she was coming. You was in motion, like I got to get there, and you wrote the letter in a matter of time so that you can submit it. That's great. That's great. You know
I am committed.
what you're doing is spearheading the pavement so that persons with disabilities will know that their voices are being heard and that they're receiving representation from our our government officials. So somebody's paying attention, because a lot of times we do wonder, do our government officials actually recognize or notice anything that's out the way, or do we have to wait till we bring it to their attention and go to Capitol Hill and say, hey, this is not right. I mean, from the bathrooms, from the pavement and the walkways, from the winding in the doors in a restaurant, a lot of things. I believe that in new businesses, all businesses should have or show what accommodations they have for persons with disability, whether it's visual, hearing, wheelchair usage, something. You can't always tell me that we got to have our food delivered. You can't always tell me that you got to go through a back entrance because that's where your drop is. Come on, people. Even at the
Lack
doctor's
of
office.
access.
I'm sorry.
Lack of access is exclusion. So lacking access is exclusion.
Right? I wonder sometimes, how is it when you go to the doctor's office that they don't have automatic doors?
Oh, that's a whole nother story right there. And then they say, oh, this building is grandfathered in, but if this building is a government entity, it is 100% supposed to be accessible. You cannot
There,
exclude individuals. The ADA law prohibits that.
right. There is monies for a building that's grandfathered in. That means that they still have an obligation to show accessibility. So even if they don't want to do any modifications physically to the building, say break down the doorway or whatever, they can still offer and supposed to have it visual where the accommodations are in their facility. And it's just not,
Absolutely.
and I come from state office, so I kind of know that, and I know no better, but people don't, I'm gonna be honest, they don't play fair. So I wanted to go to another photo here that you have with William Seabrook. Debbie Dingles
Yes.
represent. Okay, so what's going on with Mr. Seabrook?
Yes, so I reached out to Debbie Dingle's office, and the reason why I'm reaching out beyond the state level is because the caretaker shortage crisis and the need for personal care assistance, it transcends state boundaries. It's happening all over the country. So I need to reach these individuals to have conversations about what's necessary. Now, the interesting thing with William Seabrook from Debbie Dingle's office, we extended this far past my platform as I'm passionate about dignified care. And so the concern was how specialized shower chairs are not covered under insurances. They consider these items as luxury items when they in fact are a necessity. Now, I remember when I first became injured, I was living in a rental property, so I had the standard shower bench, and it was like punishment. The shower was punishment for me. Something that's supposed to feel good, enjoyable. It became like again, like no. And so it's hard on not only my body, but it was hard on the caretakers,
Mm-hmm.
which led to other issues for myself. We're talking secondary issues came in. So I believe that these items that they're calling luxury items are necessities that can save lives, and it can ultimately save the government money. Because what happens is there's another issue that this Medicaid has to pay for. Now, Medicare has to pay for when we can get it right the first time. I
Correct.
had I have workers' comp, so I'm not limited to these. I'm not limited. I can get these items, and they're at my expense. I couldn't get it at the time because I didn't have access in my bathroom. And they refused to do it on the rental property.
But you know what? And I mean, cut you off. But see, on the average, now we're talking about shower accessibility, bathroom accommodations, which most people might not even think about is an important tool or value to a person, but it is. So it's like, do we have to get our government officials involved to say, hey, any and everybody should be able to have these tools in their home free of charge up under their insurance? If you're so busy giving me groceries, don't get me wrong, you give me gift cards, you give me all kinds of, transportation, maybe you having these doctors come visit my home, maybe every insurance company offers something to get you to accept their program. But the things that you need, when you bring it to them, they say, "Oh, we don't offer that," and you got to wait a whole year before you can, go through open enrollment. But why don't we just have this as part of a package in our insurance plan anyway? You know?
I believe that that's something that should be offered. So whether you have to pay in it, like say if there was like a monthly fee for individuals that could afford that, say like we tacked on an additional $30 a month, right? In the event that you yourself, right, you may not need these things now, but in the future you may need them. So if we do something now, we can fight that problem before it happens, right? So
Preventative methods. Preventative
yeah, it's
methods.
no way that because it's no way people should go without dignified care. A disability can happen to anyone, including those all the way at the top that are refusing to do something. It can happen to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, let's see. What do we have here? Okay. Oh, that was this ding. The photo I have here that I'm showing with you with Vicky Hartley.
Yeah, so I actually met Vicky Hartley when I met Rashida Tlaib. She's from Senior Alliance Area on Ages, which provides care for our elderly population. She and I had a conversation where I wrote her a compelling email. She then reached out. She said, I think that we need to meet with a state rep together. So she and I went and met with State Rep Aaron Burns. And we
Mm-hmm.
talked about the need for care, and not only for those dealing with the physical disability, but the well-being of our caretakers. Because if you benefit the workers, you benefit the care.
You sure you're not in
A
the
lot of
politics? Look, you sure you don't have a seat in the politicians? Okay. Well said, my dear. Well said.
this is all passion. This is passion. So, um, this is
That's great.
passion that we didn't talk about that, but my platform, it was birthed because I have a 360 degrees viewpoint on care. I worked as a director of care until the day I got injured, and so I have this 360-degree viewpoint existing on both ends of the equation of care. So not only do I know it from a disabled standpoint, I know it from a caretaker standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Valid point. Valid point. All right. So I see a group of people here in this photo. Um, and I believe this is your platform statement. True essence of care and compassion lies in bridging the gap between caretakers and the disability community. Shanta
Yeah, that was an
Favors. All right.
absolutely amazing forum. So I was at the Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan, where I got together with some healthcare professions, caregivers, and the disability community, where we had dialogue how we can best help each other. Because we as existing on both ends of the equation of care. I know how caretakers can be, and I know how those dealing with the disability can be. So that, but if we can come together and build an alliance, then we have a better chance together, fighting this together to bring on change. Right? We could become the champions of change by working together.
Mm-hmm.
So my initiative is to have these forums happening all over the country, whether they're in person or by Zoom. They can be very beneficial. We can learn from each other.
Great. 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 So this group of healthcare professionals here, Mario Dixon and yourself and these other people are from the Rehab Institute.
Yes. One individual, one of the caregivers, she was from Sunrise Senior Living. She was from Sunrise Senior Living. The other individuals was from Rim. Oh, the doctor was from I don't know what the doctor was from, but she's like a doctor
Mm-hmm.
candidate. Yeah.
This is a nice,
So
nice
I got a
bonus.
doctor. I got a doctor candidate. Not only that, I got 6 doctors to write their opinion on what is necessary and needed to help us bridge the gap. That was very beneficial. One doctor, he stated that he feels that all doctors should act as their patient's advocate. And a lot of doctors do not, like a true advocate for that patient and not for a financial gain or what you can get out of it, but specifically how you can help that individual have better care.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
for you to have a relationship with the doctor should be able to reach back as not just a profession, but say, you know what, let me know what it is that you need. Let me know where is it you're stuck at, so that we can expedite this a little better for you. I mean, doctors write prescriptions and say, hey, I diagnosed this, and that. Then they need to deal with the insurance companies, and they have their staff to do that. So then the staff may be able to go through the system and say, okay, if this person is in need of a specialized chair. Well, if you're a first time user of any medical device, you don't know what you need. All you know is that you have sustained this disability and now you have to use assertive devices to ambulate. Now, how is it that you're supposed to know what kind of chair? There's a sports chair for a person who once upon a time an athlete and they want a sports wheelchair. People don't know that. They just know that they're getting a chair. So we need to better educate between the doctors and the insurance company. If a client is in need of something, give them a chance to visually see some materials to understand which one would suit them instead of just sending them something and say, this is it.
You see, what a lot of times tend to happen, Marshall, is the insurance company, they will make a way so that you can't get that. Like the chair I'm sitting in right now, it is a power chair that goes to manual, right? And this power chair that goes to manual, it allows for an individual who doesn't have a wheelchair accessible van to still be transported. Now, however, this chair would be covered by Medicaid or Medicare. They would consider this chair a luxury chair. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why do you need that? They wouldn't give it. So if they lead with empathy and compassion, sometimes we can really change the narrative and save so many lives just by simply having conversations. Like, go back to the doctors, right? So there's something called a prior authorization.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times that prior authorization, it can't be properly filled out if you don't have a conversation relationship with the patient, because you may miss something. You may go write a code or fill in a code, but you really miss the mark on what really needs to be said, that
Right.
that plain language, that language that needs to be said. So this individual then suffers because the insurance company deny it, unless you
Right.
have one of those private insurance again, like auto, grandfather auto, or workers compensation. You are at the mercy of a broken system.
And you
Yeah.
know what? But a person like yourself, Miss Wheelchair Michigan, you're gonna make that change and have your voice heard. And our program here at Just Ask will, more than willing to support you in your efforts. I mean, it's important to get the word out and get people some support in what they need. Material wise, mental, physical. A lot of people feel like after you sustain an injury that's it. I always
Yeah.
call a change of life an alteration. We don't like it. We may not didn't want that, but it's an alteration. But it didn't mean we died. It just means our life has been altered. So it's an alteration, and that's just me. But let me ask you this: so, do you have any events that you're working on that's coming up anytime soon?
Yeah, so on Sunday I'm going to the Miracles League, where they is a league where physical and developmentally delayed children play baseball, and they have maybe someone that is of an able body, maybe bat for them, run for them. I am going there on Sunday to be of encouragement. Sometimes it takes that child to see someone before them as an adult who is
Mm-hmm.
living life purposely, unapologetically, not allowing a disability to stop them, to be their very encouragement. So I'm doing that on the 9th. And then on the 13th, I'll be traveling to Grand Rapids, where on the 14th, I'll be touring Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation, meeting with the patients as well as the staff, speaking about my platform. And then the
Okay.
very next day, I will be attending the Lori Voice Walk in Grand Rapids, where they're raising funds for children under 21 years of age, where they can provide them with things. Maybe they might need a wheelchair accessible van, or they may need a specialized shower chair that's not covered under insurance. So they're raising these funds, and I am honored and to do that. Then the 21st to the 23rd,
Mm,
I'll be in Chicago at the Abilities Expo, representing not only Miss Wheelchair Michigan, but the Miss Wheelchair Americas organization, so that people can see us and what we're about.
okay. So, what would you say to someone who wants to compete in Miss Wheelchair Michigan?
I would say do it. Father, if it's in your heart, you have a passion, a platform could be on anything that you're passionate about. Let nothing stop you. You can be the very change that you want to see. You may say something that could change someone's life. Your voice just may very well reach Washington. Do not let a disability define you. You defined it. Go for it. Just go for it. No matter if you're watching, wherever you're watching from. There's a Miss Wheelchair America program all around the country. So just do it, and you will feel so good, because the Miss Wheelchair America program is not a beauty pageant. It is about empowerment, advocacy, and education. So I would say use your voice to the very best of your ability. You've already lost your ability to walk. Why not change that into something else? I say I have turned my adversities into advocacies. I am living proof that you don't have to be held down or stopped because it happened. The disability already happened. Now, what are you going to do about it?
All right. All right. Well, you said that well. Well, I've got one more minute, and I know that I have to ask you this question. So, how can viewers and listeners help support you at this
Okay.
time in this event?
You could follow me first on Facebook, Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024. So that's MS period Wheelchair Michigan 2024. I have a GoFundMe, which is can be found under MWM 2024 Shanta Favors. That's SHANTA FAVORS.
Okay.
Reach out. Email me, Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2024 at gmail.com.
All right, well, we have all that at the bottom of our screen. So I want to say to you, thank you so much for spending some time with me and educating our viewers. Your platform is well deserved. You've done a wonderful job just giving us, the idea that anyone who wants to help and can help, let's bring it to the forefront and do what we can to support you as Miss Michigan, Miss Wheelchair Michigan, and the future Miss Wheelchair Michigan. Okay, so I want you to hold that thought for me, and I'll be right back.
Maybe you don't like watching workout videos. But this is more than that. Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, I'm doing this as a blood cancer survivor. So really, this video is actually about how vital your donation is in helping thousands of patients like me thrive. Please consider donating to the LLS, because every dollar raised today helps more people thrive tomorrow.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
And I won't have to tell my kids, this isn't a drill.
Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Always lock it up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got to share our event with us. Don't forget, on the 4th Annual Health and Fun Fair event on Thursday, October 3rd, 2024 at the Eastern Market Shed number 5. And hopefully Shanta will be there as well. So we will have a lot of fun that day. Mark your calendar. Save that date, October 3rd. 2024. And so, as always, I want to let you know that if you missed the show today on podcast, just turn into PBS Channel 56, our several cable stations: Comcast Detroit, Comcast Southfield, Birmingham, Bloomfield, Troy, Lake Orion, East Lansing. And if I missed somebody, I'm sorry, y'all. I'll come back to you. All right. So I want to close with a very special photo, okay, before I go out. But I want to thank Shanta, and I want to say, what do I always say? If you know a person with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host,